I'm Andre Huey, and this is the SKN Newsline Newscast. With the outcry over the altercation between Mr. Lindsey Grant, Minister of Tourism, and the police officers, leader of the St. Kitts and Nevis Labour Party, Dr. Terrence Drew, does not have much high hope that much will come from the investigation. More in this report. Leader of the St. Kitts and Nevis Labour Party, Dr. Terrence Drew, is not optimistic that anything consequential will come of the investigation into an incident involving Minister Lindsey Grant and some police officers, as seen in a viral video. The minister on Tuesday said he supports the police to gather all the evidence and to investigate the full context of the incident, and he regrets how the circumstances were portrayed. Dr. Drew called on the police to investigate the matter and for the Prime Minister and the Deputy Prime Minister to take the appropriate actions to hold Mr. Grant accountable. But he said, based on track record, he does not expect much to come from the investigation.
If we leave it up to the government, nothing will be done. But I'm calling on the good and fair-minded people of St. Kitts and Nevis to ensure that this one does not go under the rug. The MP must answer these allegations and these charges, and what we saw on the videotape and hear from the clippings are very, very disturbing. They cannot go without some sort of consequence, and I'm calling today again for the resignation of MP Grant.
Dr. Drew said if nothing consequential occurs from this incident, it says a lot about the society and the government.
So if nothing comes of this, this speaks very appallingly of the society and of our government. And I really want our people to look closely. But what I've seen with respect to our people is that our people have been outraged. However, it is the government who must now act and make sure it carries out justice in this case for the police officers. But if the government does nothing at all, this continues to speak very low of the government, which has not been upholding the law in a fair way. But they are very partial when it comes to the application of the law. For example, we saw that during a protest that took place last year, a past officer, Busso, we know him as the model cop, he was actually arrested, he and another young lady, for protesting peacefully. So here we have now a police officer from a tape being assaulted, being threatened, and nothing because it's an NP. Then what type of country do we live in? So if the government does nothing, it's just in keeping with what people expect the government to do. It does nothing when it comes to those who are very close to the government. But we are saying that this time we are not going to accept that. The police officers are human beings.
Mr. Grant has come under fire from the general public after the video with him arguing with police officers went viral on the weekend. Mr. Grant said while the videos do not display the extent of the incident that night, he understands the position he holds. Andre Huey, SKN Newsline. Justice is alive and well in St. Kitts and Nevis, according to Attorney General Vincent Byron Jr. He was speaking at the opening of the new law year on Tuesday. Jacinta Teixeira reports.
Attorney General and Minister of Justice and Legal Affairs, Vincent Byron Jr., said that St. Kitts and Nevis has successfully navigated significant challenges to the legal system posed by the COVID-19 pandemic over the past 2 years, and has ensured that the administration of justice remains alive and well. The message was communicated during an address for the virtual opening of the legal year 2022 on Tuesday, January 11th, 2022. The virtual opening was hosted by the Eastern Caribbean Supreme Court, ECSC, and featured presentations from representatives of member states. Minister Byron Jr. noted that the government provided greater access to technology and technological tools to ensure that COVID-related disruptions to the court were minimized. As a result, magistrate court hearings were facilitated by Zoom, while the ECSC e-litigation portal has been very useful in the filing of court documents, scheduling hearings, and facilitating online searches.
Challenges of COVID-19, Zoom hearings have been introduced in the Magistrates Court since January 2021. Zoom allows a full list to be scheduled, where ordinarily it is not possible. Lawyers remain in their offices with their clients for court hearing via Zoom. Sessions conducted via Zoom include evidence taken from witnesses who are overseas, evidence taken from persons in wheelchairs, civil call over twice monthly. All contentious matters are adjourned for trial in court. Zoom has been a tremendous help in eliminating the backlog caused by numerous lockdowns. Starting in August, a night court has also been introduced in District A. It has been a tremendous success. Approximately 360 matters, primarily traffic matters, have been heard. It is favored.
He also highlighted several notable achievements that took place in the Twin Island Federation in 2021. These include the opening of the new court annex of the Sir Lee L. Moore Judicial and Legal Complex, named in honor of Governor General Sir S. W. Tapley Seton, as well as the relocation of the High Court Registry and Intellectual Property Office to a permanent home. A.G. Byron Jr. added that jury trials were likely to increase in the new law year in St. Kitts and Nevis, given the high vaccination rate of the population. He indicated that digital reform will continue within the legal system and are likely to remain in place even after the pandemic. I am Justin Teixeira for SKN Newsline.
When we come back, historic 6 ships call on St. Kitts. If you're looking for a one-stop shop for all your electronics, you only have 2 stores to choose from: Island Electronics on 4th Street, Bastyr, and Smart Electronics at Port Zante. At Island Electronics, you have some of the top brands in electronics, from the top-of-the-line smartphones, Samsung and iPhone, laptop computers, smart TVs, washing machines, small appliances, phone accessories, refrigerators, and so much more. Brands include Whirlpool, Samsung, Black & Decker, HP, and much more. Island Electronics is located in the heart of Bastyr. Make it easy for you to access and shop. You can also choose to shop at Smart Electronics. Get the same great deals and quality products, the widest array in smartphones, including the latest Samsung Z Fold, smart TVs, and simply the best in household appliances like stoves, refrigerators, washing machines, even dishwashers. At Smart Electronics, get products for your leisure: headphones, video games, from Nintendo Switch to PlayStation 5, Bluetooth speakers, and much more. It's so hot these days. Well, at Smart Electronics, you can buy fans or air conditioners. And the brands that Smart Electronics carry are simply the best: JBL, Beats, Whirlpool, Panasonic, LG, Samsung, HP, Dell, RCA, and many more. You can choose to buy cash or on layaway. So if you're looking for electronic stores with the best deal and quality, Island Electronics and Smart Electronics are your only choices. Choose the store of your convenience. Contact them today. Smart Electronics at 466-4271 or WhatsApp 668-2818, or Island Electronics at 665-8677. 2 stores, 1 great experience. Welcome back. Tourism Minister Lindsay Grant hails the historic call of 6 cruise ships at Port Zante and the Bastyr Harbour, as well as South Friars Bay, on Tuesday. We have more in this report. On Tuesday, St. Kitts welcomed 6 cruise ships. Minister of Tourism Lindsay Grant spoke of this milestone in a video issued by the St. Kitts Tourism Authority.
Today is a very significant day for the cruise industry and tourism in general in St. Kitts and Nevis, because today we welcome 6 cruise ships. 6. We've been very challenged over the last several days and weeks with the advent of the Omicron virus, but I believe because we have constantly engaged our partners, whether it is the Ministry of Health, whether it is the COVID-19 Task Force, whether it is our cruise line partners, we've engaged them over a number of days, over a number of weeks. And so today I think is a result of those efforts that we've put in over the last several weeks. And we are hoping that as we progress to the end of January to the end of February, that the threat of the Omicron will be lessened and we'll have a more significant cruise season. I'm delighted today to see the hair braiders, the vendors, the primate petting vendors, the vendors of the whole, Port Zante merchants, all those who have the benefit of receiving an economic stimulus, I call it, from the 6 ships today. And so we want to thank our cruise line partners for having the trust and the confidence that they reposed in us to make St. Kitts and Nevis, again, one of the major cruising destinations in the Caribbean.
The tourism minister said the taxi operators also did good business on Tuesday.
I'm very delighted because I've just checked over at the taxi stand where the tour operators and the taxi drivers normally line up for their several jobs. And it's not yet, it's just about midday, and we've already had 65 jobs dispatched to the taxi operators today. And we're not halfway through the day. So I think today augurs well for them. And so I want to thank them for at least making sure that they're ready, travel-approved, ready to make money, which they have had a paucity of over the last several months.
The ships that docked on Tuesday are the Azura, Celebrity Silhouette, Crystal Serenity, and Explorer of the Seas, all docking at Port Zante. Le Dumont d'Orville, which docked at South Friars Bay, and the Star Flyer, which docked at the Bastille Harbor. I'm Andre Huey reporting for SKN Newsline. The World Bank is reporting slow economic growth for much of 2022 going into 2023 in their latest forecast released earlier this week. More in this report from Jacinthia Teixeira.
The World Bank is projecting a 2.6 economic growth from the Latin America and the Caribbean in 2022. In a press release issued this week, the World Bank, in its Global Economic Prospect Report, said following a strong rebound in 2021, the global economy is entering a pronounced slowdown amid fresh threats from COVID-19 variants and a rise in inflation, debt, and income inequality that could endanger the recovery of emerging and developing economies. The global growth is expected to decelerate markedly from 5.5% in 2021 to 4.1% in 2022 and 3.2% in 2023 as pent-up demand dissipates and the fiscal and monetary support is unwound across the world. The World Bank said that the rapid spread of the Omicron variant indicates that the pandemic will likely continue to disrupt economic activity in the near term. In addition, a notable deceleration in major economies, including the United States and China, will weigh on external demands in emerging and developing economies. At a time when governments in many developing economies lack the policy space to support activity if needed, new COVID-19 outbreaks, persistent supply chain bottlenecks, and inflationary pressures and elevated financial vulnerabilities in large swaths of the world could increase the risk of a hard landing. The slowdown will coincide with a widening divergence in growth rates between advanced economies and emerging and developing economies. Growth in advanced economies is expected to decline from 5% in 2021 to 3.8% in 2022 and 2.3% in 2023, a pace that, while moderating, will be significant to restore output and investment to their pre-pandemic trend in these economies. The latest Global Economic Prospect Report features analytical sections that provide fresh insights into 3 emerging obstacles to the durable recovery in developing economies. We will provide more insight into this report in subsequent broadcasts. The full text of the press release from the World Bank can be found on the SKN Newsline website at www.sknnewsline.com in the press release section. I am Jacinthia Teixeira for SKN Newsline.
When we come back, news on the regional scene, the union in Trinidad and Tobago calling for vaccine injury policy. More when we come back. Come get your fresh smoothie at Master Mix Smoothie in Bastyr at 2 locations, the Bastyr Public Market or under the arch at the National Museum. Get a fresh, all-natural, healthy and tasty smoothie with flavors of your choice. Master Mix Smoothie knows the flavors that you like and mixes it all up for you the way you want it. Master Mix Smoothie, 2 locations, the Bastyr Public Market or under the arch at the National Museum. Master Mix Smoothie, always the real thing, always smoothie. Want to buy some fresh fruits, vegetables, or ground provision, but don't have the time to go to the market or even to find parking? Look no further. Green Market and Delivery is your solution. Green Market and Delivery is an e-commerce store that sells and delivers local produce to customers in St. Kitts and Nevis. Anything you purchase, you can get fresh from the market and delivered directly to your door. Log on to www.greenmarketskn.com. Click on the e-store link, choose your items, and shop away. We have a wide array of products from fruits, vegetables, local products, spices and seasonings, and much more. Save time and energy. Shop on greenmarketskn.com, your one-stop shop for fresh local produce. Welcome back, and now to news on the regional scene. The National Trade Union Centre in Trinidad and Tobago wants the government to implement a vaccine compensation fund, which will help provide relief for those persons who may have experienced adverse effects after taking the COVID-19 vaccine. More from TTT News.
The National Trade Union Centre says it will send several proposals to government on its own vaccine policy and remains adamant that workers should not be made to get vaccinated to go out to work from next Monday. General Secretary Michael Anisette says the suggestions will soon be sent to the Prime Minister and Attorney General, and he wants a fund set up for anyone who may experience adverse effects after getting vaccinated.
We must establish, let me repeat it, a vaccine injury compensation fund to provide relief to any and all citizens who may experience loss of life, limb or livelihood as a consequence of the COVID-19 inoculation.
Mr. Anisette believes a protocol for adverse reporting must be implemented for absolute transparency.
Establish a stringent protocol for the reporting of adverse events and injuries, supported by a functional vaccine adverse event reporting system, which is publicly accessible and viewable online.
NATOC also wants government to ensure a person does not have to disclose their vaccine status, even to employers.
The medical information should not be disclosed, we are saying that, to employers or to any other member of the public, because this serves, in our humble view, no other purpose than to facilitate coercion, victimization, and the loss of your job.
Mr. Anisette adds that safe zones should also be abolished, saying it gives a false sense of security since people can still get infected. NATOC President James Lambert says the union stand firm that vaccination remain a choice and continues to urge all public servants to exercise their right next Monday.
Go to work on the 17th.
Sonolala, TTT News.
The export of cannabis from St. Vincent and the Grenadines is getting closer after the government recently approved a license for the exportation of cannabis from the country. More from SVG News.
As CEO and my staff at the MCA, I could speak on behalf of all stakeholders here in St. Vincent and the Grenadines. We are very pleased that Cabinet has approved this first export license. I would say it's the first in the OECS, and this has set the stage for the final steps before a date of shipment can be properly arranged. Of the many milestones in this journey, I want to highlight, of course, other milestones, the granting and award of licenses under the Medicinal Cannabis Industry Act. B, the global model for the inclusion of traditional cultivators, ensuring that they are part of this process. C, patient access regulations, the first in the Caribbean. D, dispensary pharmacies established here in St. Vincent and the Grenadines.
I want to recognize the work that Professor Ogaro of the University of the West Indies of Ascension is doing, Ezra Ledger, other stakeholders internationally, and also the advice from Professor David Berry as it pertains to the psychedelics industry in St. Vincent and the Grenadines. The MCA has done an excellent job. And when the history books are written and students of history canvass an analysis of this period, it will reflect that on January the 5th, 2022, that the Cabinet of St. Vincent and the Grenadines made a very important decision to issue the first export license to ensure that at the end of the day, we'll come up with what we have grown to consider to be the best legislative package anywhere in the Caribbean. The legal drafters at the Office of the Attorney General did an excellent job, and because of that, we have acted since then intra vires international law. Because of that very important platform that has been established, we're able to address critical issues of banking, and the Cannabis Industry Act has laid the platform for the diversification of the modern medicinal wellness industry to include the psychedelics.
The pioneers behind this at this point in time have been involved in this industry since the very beginning. They have invested upwards of $15 million in their company, and their investment now touches and concerns the livelihood of over 50 persons. I must say too, working closely with them, that I have recognized within the company, there are some bright stars. There are some young people within that company, very professional, and they have brought to the industry, their level of knowledge have lifted the industry and have definitely helped us where we are sitting here, because it is new to us all. And I know that even the Medicinal Cannabis Authority have benefited from their knowledge. It's a learning experience for all of us.
On the international scene, after a week of deadly riots in Kazakhstan, the Russian-led forces there are preparing to withdraw as the president of Kazakhstan has appointed a new prime minister. We have more in this report from Al Jazeera.
The people who looted this Almaty shopping mall knew no one was coming to stop them. Not only did they steal new shoes, they had time to leave their old ones behind. This store owner estimates damages at over $100,000.
The guys who did the looting, mostly men, right? But they still took all the lingerie. Everything's gone.
On Tuesday, President Tokayev did not say how he would help business recover from an estimated $57 million in losses, but he did promise social, economic and political reforms. And, strikingly, a crackdown on the country's oligarchs. who must pay into a new national fund.
Thanks to the first president, El-Bassi, a group of very profitable companies and a layer of people, rich even by international standards, have appeared in the country. I believe that it's time to pay tribute to the people of Kazakhstan and help them systematically and regularly.
Relatives of former President Nursultan Nazarbayev have amassed fabulous wealth and taken it abroad. It's estimated that his daughter and son-in-law own properties in London alone worth over $350 million.
Slightly more than half of national wealth is held offshore, is probably a reasonable estimate. So you're talking about more than half of all the wealth in the country is outside the scrutiny of the government. And therefore, if the owners of that wealth decide not to participate in the new national fund, then that wealth will not participate in the new national fund. And there's nothing the government can do about that.
Tokayev says foreign troops will leave within 10 days. He seems confident he no longer needs the Moscow-backed military force to hold on to power. From the Prime Minister down, loyal deputies are being appointed.
The key issue, to what extent he will be able to repair the economy, to take it out of this corrupted criminal oligarchic type of ruling, and secondly, how he will be able to redistribute the wealth to make to narrow these social gaps and social inequality and social injustice. If he will be able to do so, this is the best way of healing.
There's much healing to do. Widespread damage to both the private and public sectors. More than 160 people have died, thousands injured. This is a traumatized nation, hoping the Nazarbayev era is drawing to a close, but wary of what comes next. Robin Forestier Walker, Al Jazeera.
In sports, the untimely passing of track star from Trinidad and Tobago, Dion Lendor, has sent shockwaves across the world in track and field. Here is a look at his life.
Dion Lendor began his athletic career as a member of Abilene Wildcats in his hometown of Arima. He won his first major medal at 13 in the 4x400 relay at the 2009 Junior Pan American Games in Port of Spain. In 2011, Lendor won TNT's 400 meters junior title and went on to take silver in the men's 400 meters and a 4x400 relay at the Pan Am Juniors in Florida, silver in 4x400 meters at the CAC Games. After graduating from QRC, Lendor accepted a scholarship to sprint for Texas A&M's Aggies. In his freshman year, he swept NCAA's Big 12 400-meter titles, running a personal record indoor and a career best in the outdoor final. He made his Olympic debut that same year, anchoring Trinidad and Tobago's 4x400 relay to Olympic bronze in a national record 2 minutes 59.4 seconds. Lendor became the first Trinbagonian and the first Caribbean athlete to win the NCAA's prestigious Bowman Award as an A&M junior in 2014. He ran 14 races undefeated that season, winning 8 finals and grabbing the USTF CCCA National Track Athlete of the Year, SEC Outdoor Runner of the Year, and South Central Regional Athlete of the Year accolades on his way to the big prize. In 2015, Lendor, Rennie Kwao, Marshall Cedeno and Lalonde Gordon ran one of the most thrilling races of their careers, winning silver in the men's 4x400 meters in a national record of 2 minutes 58.2 seconds. Lendor also holds 3 world indoor bronze in the 400 meters and a 4x400 meter relay from 2016 and a 400 meter bronze from 2018. In 2019, he won gold in the World Relays as part of the 4x400 team and the final piece of precious metal Pan Am Games 4x400 bronze. Tokyo 2020, held last year, was his final Olympic appearance for Team TTO, as the 4x400 meter men finished 8th in the world. His achievements tell only half of the story of Lendor's life. What the athletics community mentions most as they grieve is his humanity. In recent weeks, Lendor worked as a volunteer assistant coach, taking on an active role in molding the next generation of middle-distance student athletes in A&M's track and field program. His legacy as a man and a titan among titans will continue that work long after.
Welcome to the SKN Newsline Weather Report. I am Janil Boone. Here is a look at the 4-day forecast for St. Kitts and Nevis. For a more detailed weather report, visit our website at www.sknnewsline.com.
You've been watching the SKN Newsline newscast. From all of us here at SKN Newsline and Channel 95, thank you for watching. I'm Andre Huey.